Views expressed in the videos are my observation, analysis of events, persons based on principles of astrology. It's not my intent to predict, forecast absolute outcomes, only suggest how they may unfold. Nothing is set in stone. I could be wrong, but often I'm right. My desire is not to promote fear, only inform about what we see unfolding. It is our wish to prepare our subscribers for events that could affect them, their family, their goals, and their future, to help to prepare for what you may already suspect is happening, and to send a warning shot across the bow and raise a flag of concern. Our goal is to help, not hinder, in these perilous times, to inspire and offer possible direction, and to reveal that a greater plan and purpose are behind all that is happening. Eventually, we will see a brighter day. If you would like to show your appreciation for our work on these videos or this channel, and also the Knowing Whispers channel, you can always click on the word thanks at the bottom of all the videos. Hello everybody, it's Robert Cosmar of the Astrology of Life YouTube channel, and also over on Substack, the newsletter on spiritual awakening and awareness called Knowing Whispers, Messages from the Universe. And I also have two other newsletters over there. One's called Trump in America, and the last one is Ask the Astrologer. This is kind of a surprise video that I'm going to be doing for you. And I haven't decided completely on the title yet, but the idea that's been popping through my head kind of is either it's my money and I want it now, or show me the money, something like that. I'm going to be talking about the possibility of Donald Trump actually managing somehow to acquire the $600 million necessary to be able to post the bond while this particular legal action goes through the process. From what I understand from watching many of the legal experts on TV, there is no restriction as to who Donald Trump gets this money from. Now that causes a great deal of concern for many reasons, because what if he gets this money, if he does get the money from Saudi Arabia, or he gets it from Russia, or he gets it from Korea? Okay, this sets up a scenario that, with all the other things that are going on, would be quite disturbing to just about anybody. Okay, so what I'd like to do in this particular video is to set the stage for you to understanding how it's possible that Donald Trump could find a way to do this. Okay, and in the process of that, I hope that for those of you that are astrologers, or those of you that are just learning, or those of you that have come to just watch this particular channel, that you'll gain an understanding of the significance of astrology in regards to helping you to understand your life in a very basic way, a very karmic way, so that some of the mysteries in your life, the disappointments, the heartache, and things of that nature, you'll come to find out that the astrology can show you what was going on at that particular time. And then if you are seriously questioning your life and wanting to know more about the spiritual side, the conscious side of yourself, your higher self, that this will be a springboard for you to help you to gain confidence and understanding that everything in the universe is working together in conjunction with the circumstances that we experience in life. But from personal experience, I know that unless we are aware enough, that's not something that we can accept or that we can understand. All right. But how this all ties in with the astrology is that most astrologers that have been doing astrology for a long time, they understand that while their mind tells them, look at all this symbolism, okay, they know that it's all working together, that it's all influencing other parts, okay? of a person's life. And that in itself is quite a revelation, okay, in terms of understanding what you're looking at in terms of a horoscope and what the ramifications are, okay, for people, okay. All right, let's start here with Donald Trump's natal chart. All right, and I'm going to focus here on Neptune. And I'm doing that for a couple of reasons. You can see here that Neptune is in the second house. This is the house of your values. It's the house of how you earn your money, okay, or the money that you get for what you do. Now, the interesting thing about this is that Neptune, you'll see here, also rules the 8th house, which is unearned income in terms of the Vedic chart system, and also it pertains to lotteries and things like that. And that Neptune, okay, when it comes to money, and of course you know Neptune rules very high, altruistic, spiritual conscious types of ideas and beliefs and things, but it also rules deception, lying, cheating, all right, and things of that nature, okay. And it squares his Mercury, okay, which is his mind, his way of communicating, his way of thinking, okay, how he does things. Almost any astrologer with any amount of experience, when they see this aspect in a chart or an opposition, the alarm bell goes off and you begin to wonder, am I being told the truth? Does this person really understand what it is that's going on? This type of thing. Because it's important, if you're going to help the client, to help them to understand the dynamics that are involved here, okay? And of course, in my system of belief, okay, or knowing, I tend to see things like Neptune as being a two-edged sword, okay? And all planets are that way. They have a positive side, they have a destructive side. It all depends upon what other aspects they make and other things that are involved. And when you're talking about Neptune, you're not talking about logic and reasoning. You're talking about anything, okay, beyond logic and reasoning. And this pertains to the person's way of thinking and believing and behavior, all right? We term that, I think, psychologically in some cases as mental illness, okay? And there's all kinds of different ways you can diagnose that and categorize it and stuff like that. And I don't disagree with that, but I would also have to say that there is more than one way of viewing life. There are more than just one view of life, all right? And the reason for that is because of Neptune, because Neptune makes us consciously aware at times that there are things that exist beyond logic and reasoning, okay? Now, I'm setting this up for you because I'm going to show you in this next chart Donald Trump's horoscope and the transits to it. And I'm going to be showing you many things relative to the 8th house and also to that placement of Neptune in the 2nd house, okay? And keep in mind that Neptune squares Mercury. So in his business dealings, in his dealings with money, in his dealings with, in some ways, the courts, okay, his inclination is not to be truthful, okay? It is more so to fulfill the function of who he is, okay? And I know that there are many probably that would lob Donald Trump into the category of mentally ill, and even though he's starting to show signs of dementia, I believe that we are all born with a certain perspective on life, okay? And maybe our parents added to that, reinforced that, maybe they didn't, all right? But I tend to feel like, and I'll use the example of people like serial killers, because there are some that have had good families, all right? But karmically, okay, that particular soul, for whatever reason, chose to be born in that family, still brought in those particular inclinations, okay? And of course, in that situation, families, parents, and for example, could torture themselves for a lifetime if they could not understand and accept that it's not always their fault. Okay? Um, it's more complex than that. Okay? Well, let's go over here to the other chart that I wanted to talk to you about. Here's Donald Trump's natal chart. Here's the aspects. Okay, now, as far as we know right now, that what they're reporting, because they haven't been able to confirm it, is that he doesn't have the money. His lawyers spoke to the judge in the court and said that at that point, after trying to get a bond from 30 different companies, that nobody wanted to help Trump. Okay, they said that he basically didn't have the money for the bond on Monday. All right, but there was a leaked report that kind of squeezed itself into the news this weekend that says that Trump said he had $500 million in cash. Okay, now, as I said earlier, no matter who gives him that money, he doesn't have to, I mean, he's not restricted from getting it from whomever he wants. Who he gets it from, obviously, will come out sooner or later. And if that is the case, again, this will bring up a whole new scenario here of, oh my God, what's going on? That type of thing, legally and otherwise. All right? Now, this particular chart is for the 25th, which is Monday. All right? These are the aspects to his natal chart on Monday. Okay, some of the aspects I'm going to be talking about have to do with the eighth house, the second house. Okay, keep in mind this Neptune squaring, okay, Mercury, the deception. But there's something else that's going on here, and I'm going to show you here by going over to the aspectarian. Okay, you can see here that Mars went into his 7th house. Okay, it has been in there apparently for a little bit. Well, this just essentially means he's having agitative types of confrontations with other people. But when it comes to the money issue, all right, Neptune squares his sun. All right, this Neptune, it's a wide square of the sun here. Okay, that's not favorable in terms of him completely getting, help, getting the money, without complications. It affects, his identity, his prestige. Maybe he had to humble himself, to Russia or to Saudi Arabia to get him to help him. But what I'm more interested in here is that you can see that Neptune trines Venus. Okay, Neptune being right here. It's on the cusp of going into the 8th house. Here it is. It has gone beyond being exact. Okay, now it makes me wonder whether or not he's already had things in plan, and had already planned to do something about this as a last resort. But anyhow, Neptune is still within orb. Okay, Saturn is technically still within orb. Okay, and in this particular situation, okay, Neptune is trining Venus. Venus rules the natural 2nd house, okay, of money. Neptune's in there. It's in the sign that Venus rules, okay, along with Jupiter. So what I'm saying here is that the setup here is favorable, more favorable, than just there's no chance in hell that he's going to get this money. But that doesn't mean necessarily he will. The other thing to understand here is that Pluto, all right, Pluto over here, as you'll see, is trining Neptune. His transiting Pluto is trining his Neptune in the 2nd house. So again, understanding that everything in a horoscope affects everything else. Okay, look at it as one big whole, and this vibration is being set off, and these vibrations are really favorable except for Neptune squaring the sun. All right, so what I'm saying here, not guaranteeing, not predicting that he'll get the money, that I would really be surprised that he doesn't find some way, even if it's illicit and illegal, to wiggle his way out of being in a situation where he could have his property seized by the state of New York. And of course, I know that for those of us, including myself, there's a part of us that would like to see that happen, because there's a part of us that doesn't like the fact that somebody who has, quote, apparent wealth is able to get away with so much for so long. Okay, and it's interesting because there's some other things I'm going to share with you right now here. I've got about maybe 3 or 4 other videos to do. And oftentimes what happens with me when I do videos, astrology videos, is that I'll just be looking at charts, and then I get a very strong feeling of, you need to do a video on that chart. Okay, so that's how I do these particular charts. Okay, and what I'm implying here to you in regards to these other charts, I want to do a chart on his father and his relationship. It's extremely revealing. His mother and his relationship, okay, with him. I want to also do a video reading with him and Roy Cohn, the attorney that really kind of schooled Donald as he grew up and to maturity and began to learn the business, began to no doubt work with his father. Roy Cohn is a very fascinating individual. He ended up getting disbarred for bad behavior as an attorney. Okay, but he had many historically connected situations with criminals and non-criminals. Okay, that I hope in that video that I'll be able to bring across through the astrology an understanding of what effect that he had on Donald Trump. All right, Donald Trump, you know, doesn't have friends. What he has are accomplices. Okay, and he has people that have a similar mindset, a similar soul quality as he does. Okay, and from a karmic perspective, that is what we see happening. All right, we see these individuals that come across as being literally criminals. Okay, becoming attached to him and he to them. Same thing happened with Hitler. Okay, in World War II. Birds of a feather flock together. Okay, you're known by the friends you associate with, all that type of stuff. Okay, but I'm going again here to try to give you this focus here. 8th house, other people's money, unearned income. Okay, ruled by Neptune. Neptune's getting ready to transit into that house. Okay, Neptune is in the 2nd house of income. Okay, in the sign of Libra, which is ruled by Venus, which is, okay, money. Pluto trines, okay, Neptune. All of this stuff on March the 25th is coming into play here. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, these are not unfavorable possibilities, all right? Another thing to consider here is his midheaven is in Taurus, and it's ruled by Venus, all right? So there's a lot. If nothing else, what we have here is a tremendous amount of activity regarding money, okay? And because of the trines and the situation we're talking about here, this is favorability, okay? Favorability, okay? Jupiter is also getting closer to Uranus, okay, in the 9th house. Good fortune regarding money with foreigners. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. And I think that this will help you to get a picture of why these things are happening. You know, for many people who are afraid and who are suffering, I think the one thing that hopefully my videos do and that astrology does is that it helps to explain why. Even if you don't believe in astrology, okay, or if you don't consciously understand what it is, it at least gives to your mind, okay, a sense that this is meant to happen, okay, you know, that type of thing. And this is why, you know, particularly in places like India and the Far East, forever and ever and ever, and with Vedic astrology, the concept of karma, fate, and destiny play a large part in that. And even over here in the West, there are astrologers who believe that way, and I am one of them. I am one of them because my own inner life, you know, has shown me through the astrology, okay, and also through my guidance, the little truth of it. Okay, I got stuck there and couldn't think of the word to get out of my mouth. Okay, so I hope that you benefit from this and that you enjoy this. I hope that you come over to Substack and visit. Okay, either me and my newsletters or CJ and her newsletters as well. You'll notice when you go through this video online that there is a graphical image that shows you the URL for both my newsletter and also CJ's newsletter. So, keep that in mind. And I want to welcome, I guess is the word I'd want to use, all of you that have subscribed over the last 2 or 3 days. For some unknown reason, the video that I did on his solar return has got now over 5,700 views in about 24 hours, and I've gained about 250 to 300 subscribers, and I don't know why. Okay, I was thinking that the eclipse video would do that, and it didn't do bad, but I just couldn't understand why all of a sudden it was that solar return that people were drawn to. And many people have said to me that for some reason they could not find me for a year. Okay, now a little over a year ago I lost on YouTube, almost in a very short period of time, about 600 subscribers. And the excuse that I got was, well, the algorithm was changed and they were cleaning up subscribers that had unsubscribed, and that may be the case, but I have to honestly say that I wonder whether or not somebody there at YouTube who maybe didn't like the videos or whatever twisted a little switch here, and that created that gap. I did talk to their tech support people yesterday, and they're looking into a couple of issues regarding the channel, and hopefully they'll figure it out. Okay, at least I'm hoping for that. All right, now another treat for you. Okay, and I may do this today, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do it today. Maybe I'll do it along with the one with Fred Trump and Donald next week, but I'll save this for you. Okay, I'll save it for you, but it has to do with the eclipse, and it has to do with a what they call I'm trying to think of the word of it. Okay, of a planet that's not a planet is the word I'll use for right now. Okay, but it's just something that occurred to me this morning when I was looking at charts, and I hadn't seen it. Oftentimes when you do charts, you're focused on certain things as an astrologer, and you don't see what's happening on the outside. Well, I think what's happening with this on the outside is extremely important. So I'll just tease you with that and let you know that there is something that will enhance your experience, I think, of understanding the effects of this eclipse that we're going into. Okay? All right. Again, for those of you that are subscribers and members, I know that the channel has gone through a lot over the last year or two. As hard as I tried to be able to keep up with the changes going on with YouTube and some other things, that have gone on, I know that the original structure of the channel has changed a little bit. All right, and I apologize for that from the standpoint that I didn't want it to go that way, but I don't control what YouTube does, and it sometimes, believe it or not, it's extremely difficult to keep up with the changes that they create for you. But for those of you that have maintained being subscribers, to those of you that have been willing to be members, so to speak, and for those of you that have decided that you want to be able to support, the work that we're doing here, we want to thank you. Both CJ and I thank you for your support of what we're doing. It's tremendously fulfilling and gratifying to receive, comments from you about the videos and about the work that we're doing here. Okay? Alrighty. I think I'll conclude by saying what I normally say from the love of my life, CJ. We want to thank you, all of you. Okay? And we hope that you'll stay with us this time if you're back after being kicked out or something. And there's going to be a lot of stuff. I've talked about the live streams that I'm going to be doing progressively between now and the election to try to provide live support and understanding, okay, for you of what is going on from an astrological perspective, and more importantly than anything, to try to eliminate the obsessive fear that seems to be growing to a peak. We don't want that to happen. Okay, we don't want that to happen, and astrology is very good at being able to kind of ease the pain when you put everything together, the good and the bad. Okay, again, thank you so much, and I look forward to putting this out. Maybe today, it's Saturday, or maybe possibly on Sunday I'll put it out. Okay, take care, have a great weekend.